Welcome back to consecutive day 1212 of the Diary of a Runpreneur. And today's episode, I want to talk to you about the 12-week year plan and how you can integrate it into your business or personal lives. So please remember to give this a subscribe, share, like and comment. The more people we get in front of, the more money we raise on my fundraising mission to save the lives of children by attempting the ultimate ultra marathon. All the information about the challenge and how you can get involved is in the link in the comments below. Thank you as always. Let's get started. So, consecutive day 1212 of the Diary of a Runpreneur. And today's episode I want to talk to you about how you can utilise the 12-week year plan in your personal and business life. So the reason for this episode is today is week 13. Sorry, this week is week 13 of quarter 3 of 2023. Now, quarters being 3-month chunks or 13-week chunks, our quarters marry up with the calendar year. So we're just coming to the very end of September. So it's the last week of September, and then first week of October is week 1 of quarter 4. So if you're going to implement the 12-week year into your life, it is done in quarterly chunks. So you need to understand how to segregate your calendar year or financial year into quarterly chunks, and you basically itemize each week within each quarter, week 1 through to 13. And what the whole purpose of the 12-week year is to be able to set goals over the course of the year that you reverse engineer back from more longer term goals. So it might be that you've got a 5 or 10 year plan, reverse engineer that back to 1 year. Where should you be and what should you be achieving after 1 year? So so that's ultimately what's there. And it is in really simple terms, what you do is you identify projects. So they have to be larger than the task, a project that is going to potentially last the whole quarter. So a substantial amount of work that you want to achieve, or a goal that's substantial enough to cover 90-day sprint or period of time. And what you're then going to do is you're going to break that project down, which should link towards your yearly goal. A quarter, you're breaking your yearly goal into quarters, and then whatever quarter you're in, you should be breaking what's required during that quarter down into weekly bite-sized chunks. So, for example, it could be, I'm running a marathon at the end of the quarter. So the quarterly chunk is 12 weeks of marathon training, and each week I need to achieve X number of miles at X pace. Okay, that could be a really simplistic way of looking at how it's done. If it was over a longer period of time, it might be that I'm looking at getting a target time of a sub 3 hour marathon in a year's time. So first quarter, I'm going to be gradually increasing my pace and distance, and I'll gradually increase it over quarter 2, 3 and 4, but I'll break it down into what's expected of me each week. It could be that I have to do a sports massage every 6 weeks. It could be that I need to eat better. It could be that I need to hydrate better. It could be that I need to run faster for longer. All these different things that you can break down into weekly chunks. And then every week, at the end of the week, you look at all the tasks that you had for that week linked to all of your projects. Now you should have, the number of projects is quite subjective, because you might have really big projects, or you might have really small projects, which will determine capacity. So only you really know. The general rule of thumb is kind of 3 to 7 projects is usually the target amount. Any more than that is usually too much. Any less than that is usually not enough. And so that's your kind of what you're aiming for. But you might have additional projects for different sectors of life. So for business, you would probably wouldn't want to do more than 3 to 7, but it might be in your personal, you might have another 3 to 7. And in business, you might have 20, but those projects are split amongst various people. So there's lots of different ways to kind of set this up. And to be honest with you, it's normally trial and error, which allows you to get the right balance. So I'll constantly analyse previous quarter's performance. What you then do is that every week you have tasks to complete, as per that week, as per that project plan. So when you're breaking the project down, you should be setting tasks for each week in advance. You might add to them each week, or you might have all 12 weeks worth of tasks mapped out in advance. Again, ideally you want to have it mapped out and then adjust it slightly as you go, but some people just prefer looking to 1 to 2 weeks ahead and adjusting what they need to do for the next week accordingly, as long as you review it every week, because what you're going to do is you're going to give yourself a completion score. So every week you're going to look at all the tasks you had and what percentage of those tasks did you complete within that week. If you hit 10 out of 10, that'll be 100%. 8 out of 10 would be 80%, and so forth. It's a percentage score, and you give yourself this score personally or by person, and you can also give this score by project. So if you've got a big project with loads and loads of tasks split between a team of people, you can have a project score, and you can also have an individual person score. The idea is you're aiming for 85% and completion. If you hit 85% consistently, the argument is you will achieve your goals. If you hit between 75 and 85%, you may achieve your goals, and if you hit less than 75%, it's unlikely you're going to achieve your goals. So that's generally how it's broken down, and over the course you're analysing your score, and obviously the aim is to get a habit of achieving 85% or higher each week. So and it should hold you accountable, your team accountable, your projects accountable, everyone accountable for achieving effective results over the course of each quarter. And then you get to readjust and reschedule things at the end of the quarter during the 13th week, which is the planning week before you start the next quarterly sprint. So hope that's easy to understand. Now, I had my planning meeting with one of my business partners today. I had one of my planning meetings, and what we did is we identified 10 projects within the business, and we basically broke them up that each of us were going to lead 5 of them, so between me and a business partner. And within those 5 projects each, there'll be multiple people working on them. So we agreed today, we had all of the projects, all the opportunities, all the ideas we brainstormed, and then we prioritised the most important ones. And if it wasn't vital to get another one done, we put it into what we call parking lot, which is just a holding bay that we'll revisit at the beginning of the next quarter during the next planning meeting. And the idea is that it allows you to set your workload accordingly and have not too many projects to work on at a given time. So that happened today, and now we've done that on a Monday, and the rest of the week now will be breaking those projects down into weekly chunks, looking at who's going to be working on those projects and splitting up the work accordingly, and making sure that each and every one of us has enough work each week so that we can start scoring. So we can start scoring performance. So and then every week we send out a report to the team and the project leaders showing the project completion score for that week and whether it's on track or not, and the team member performance each week. And it's not a case of if someone's failing that we go, oh, punish them. If they're failing, there could be a number of reasons. It could be that their workload is too high. It could be that that the project hasn't got enough resource. It could be there's no end of different factors that are outside our control. But the idea is to look at this and monitor it, A, to reward high performers, but B, to adjust schedules, because people should be getting or have a chance of getting to 85% each week, but it shouldn't be easy. That's what you're aiming for. And the projects, you don't want 100% every week, because obviously you haven't set things right. But if people aren't achieving 50% each week, then maybe you've set too much work. So it's about finding that balance, and this is something that you develop over the course of time. But if you see high achievers performing highly, you can reward them. If you've got a project which is doing super well or is really on track, you can reward all team members. It's just a really cool way of holding people accountable and checking workload, rewarding when you need to reward, and helping and supporting when you also need to. So you can apply this in your business life, but you can also apply it in your personal. So I gave you the example of marathon training, which is a perfect example. But there could be any number of personal things. It could be saving plans. It could be even any number of reasons that you can utilise this for. So my learnings from my diary for today is that if you haven't got a goal setting and goal tracking process in place, then you're ultimately going to be not going to perform as well as those who do. Quite an obvious thing, but you can't improve what you can't measure, and if you don't measure, you can't track, and ultimately that all links to performance. So I hope that's useful. Any questions or comments, drop me a line. I respond to everyone. Remember to give this a subscribe, share, like and comment. As more people we get in front of, the more money we raise on my fundraising mission to save the lives of children by attempting the ultimate ultramarathon. All the information about the challenge and how you can get involved is in the link in the comments below. Thank you as always. Stay positive, stay happy, and I'll see you again tomorrow.